What's up, everybody? It's Justin. I got a pumpkin. I'm festive. Happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. Now, let's make sure everything is working according to plan on my cool Facebook Live video. I got my audio running. I got my fancy microphone hooked up. I don't have a Halloween costume. Sorry about that. Hold on a second. Let's refresh. Let's make sure that I'm live on the Clovis Culture page. If I can get it to refresh, that would be cool. What's up? I don't know how many people are going to be live tonight. Maybe not that many. That's cool. I know you guys got kids. Like 95% of you in all the Clovis groups have kids. So you're probably out and about doing family stuff. And that's awesome. That's totally cool. I want you to be celebrating Halloween. I want you to be having a fantastic time. We're going to talk all about Halloween tonight. Let me make sure. Click for more. I don't know if you guys noticed my fancy t-shirt. It says, Eat Whole Foods, Change the World. You can get these at IamClovis.com. This is the unisex 3/4 tee, baseball tee. I can't tell if this is blurry or if it's my connection. Is that really blurry for you guys? Let me see. I'm going to reload this. We got some live viewers. That's awesome. Cool. You guys are back from trick-or-treating or something, right? Uh-oh. Let's see what's going on here. All right, let me see. Hold on, guys. I got technical difficulties on my end. I'm sorry. Let's make this happen here. Go to this page. I'm going to check the phone real quick. Something's being wonky. Okay, cool. It still says live on my phone. I guess it's just my computer not cooperating with me. I don't know if you guys went to trick-or-treating. Did you guys trick-or-treat? All right, I'm going to click. Okay, I got myself up. We got people in the room. We got live viewers. Everything's good. I'm randomly still holding a pumpkin. Happy Halloween, everybody. So this is AMA number 43. Hopefully you guys are wearing your Clovis tees as well. I forgot. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The Eat Whole Foods, Change the World shirt. This is my favorite shirt I have ever created. My favorite shirt I have ever put up for sale. I love this one. I want you guys to go get your own. We also have unisex V-necks. So there are unisex V-necks in charcoal black. It's about the same color as this sleeve that say Eat Whole Foods, Change the World. Also, guys, I have not sold the initial first 50 t-shirts yet. So the first 50 people to buy t-shirts will get themselves a Clovis sticker. I would show you mine, but my Clovis sticker is on my computer, and I need my computer right now. You can get a cool little decal sticker with any purchase of an Eat Whole Foods, Change the World shirt. Go get yourself one. They're totally awesome. So, tonight is AMA number 43. We're talking all about Halloween. I'm calling this one Halloween Horrors. I am going to talk about some fun Halloween facts that are interesting and super scary. Let me put this down. I look ridiculous just carrying this thing around while I talk to you. So that's my pumpkin from a recent trip to a pumpkin patch. But anyway, tonight we're talking all about Halloween. I'm going to take you back in time. I'm going to share some interesting and horrifying facts. We are going to talk about candy. I am going to shit in the punch bowl a little bit. I'm going to talk about the ridiculousness that we have a holiday that is completely and utterly dedicated to the consumption of horrifically bad candies for the most precious little humans in the world. Yes, I have a problem with that. Yes, I'm pretending I'm not home right now so that I don't have to give anything to the kids, right? And I'm not going to be the guy that hands out frickin', I don't know, some other whole food or something. I'm just not going to do that, right? It's kind of silly. But I love the celebration of Halloween. I love horror movies. I love the weather. It's my favorite time of year. I love pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns and parties and the whole thing. It's amazing, right? But we're going to talk all about how we got here as a nation. We're going to talk about the history of trick-or-treating. Talk about where trick-or-treating comes from, where candy came into play. I learned some really interesting things myself while researching for this episode because I really thought that it was a marketing thing from candy companies. It's turned into that, but that's not necessarily where it came from, which is pretty interesting. So I'll give you a brief background of that. We're going to talk about candy and the economy. I'm going to talk about money in America, the money that's dedicated to this big giant monster that is Halloween, what Halloween has become. I'm going to give you some alternatives for what you can do with the Halloween candy after, of course, letting your kids partake. We're going to talk about being normal. We're going to talk about partaking in the holiday. We're going to talk about making your kids not feel like they're missing out on things, right? Now, also, a lot of people asked me, when I first talked about doing a Halloween episode, everybody was like, teeth, cavities, right? So we're actually going to talk about cavities. I'll teach you kind of how cavities happen and how sugar plays a role in that. by sugar plays a role in that, I mean sugar is the reason why that happens, period. So we're gonna talk about that. And again, teach your kids how to partake without allowing them to poison themselves. You just have to step in and you have to be the parent here. And we're gonna talk about that. For those of you that do not know me, you have stumbled onto a live Ask Me Anything. My name is Justin Nault. I am the founder and CEO of Clovis. I invented a line of nutritional powders called the Perfect Paleo Powder. You can get those at iamclovis.com. By the way, we have this new website, iamclovis.com/start. Nice and easy. iamclovis.com/start. For those of you that are not in the I Am Clovis group with your custom nutrition plan, not quite ready to start, not sure how to start, not sure what this is all about, this right here, iamclovis.com/start, I'm going to give you full-blown access to everything that I have to offer for 7 days. Free, everything, all the groups, you get the approved foods list, free for 7 days. Just go to iamclovis.com/start. Go check that out. You'll see some crazy testimonials. I am a certified nutritional therapist, specialist in sports nutrition, specialist in fitness nutrition. My job is to make incredible transformations happen in my one-on-one health coaching clients. That's what I do. 50 pounds in 8 weeks, 40 pounds in 60 days, 11 pounds in 7 days, all these crazy staggering results. You'll see non-scale victories. You'll see people holding pairs of pants that they used to fit in that they can now fit 2 of themselves in. Again, just go to iamclovis.com/start. Also, on the homepage of iamclovis.com, I now have a button that says testimonials. You can just click on that and see a bunch of testimonies there as well, so you can learn what this is all about. And if you're interested in how to get in and get started, iamclovis.com/start. Go there. Now that you know a little bit about me, let's jump in. Happy Halloween. Ask Me Anything, number 43, Halloween horrors. So, let's start with some fun facts. I got my trusty marker, and by fun facts, I mean horrifying facts. Americans buy an estimated 600 million pounds of candy on Halloween. We buy 600 million pounds of candy on Halloween, right? Out of the corner of my eye, I just saw a whole bunch of emojis light up on the Facebook screen, because that's a freaking staggering result. Click all the wow buttons, all the mad buttons, all the sad face buttons. I'm going to put this in perspective for you. You guys know that awesome movie that's super famous with Leonardo DiCaprio about that really cool ship that was unsinkable? The unsinkable ship, the Titanic, the most famous ship in all of human history, weighed approximately 100 million pounds. So yes, in weight, we buy the equivalent of 6 Titanic ships every year on Halloween. 600 million pounds of candy, 6 times the weight of the Titanic. What does that cost us? Let's talk about it. $2 billion. We spend $2 billion a year on Halloween candy. Who wins in this, you guys, right? We have 100 million people that are pre-diabetic and diabetic, right? And we spend $2 billion a year on candy in a day for one holiday, right? This is crazy. Now, we're going to get into more results. Okay, let me see. I got to erase this for a second. So, the most common way for kids to go out trick-or-treating and to collect their candy is with those little jack-o'-lanterns, little plastic jack-o'-lanterns. We sell millions and millions of them. Kids all across the country are having these little jack-o'-lanterns that you use to get candy put into the jack-o'-lantern. The average kid can fit 250 pieces of candy in a jack-o'-lantern head. 250 pieces of candy. That equals approximately 9,000 calories. It also equals approximately 3 pounds of pure sugar. 3 pounds of pure sugar in a tiny little jack-o'-lantern head. Now, I don't know about you, but I celebrated the hell out of Halloween as a kid. I loved it. My parents would drive us from town to town, from suburb to suburb, cul-de-sac to cul-de-sac, right? Just getting as much. My brother and I were savages. We didn't have no laughable jack-o'-lantern head. We would take queen-size pillowcases with us. You'd have to carry them like a freaking sack of potatoes. I probably had 10 pounds of candy in my bag. So a little tiny jack-o'-lantern head is 9,000 calories and 3 pounds worth of sugar. I don't even know what I had in my big giant queen-size pillowcase. I want you to think about years past if you have kids. What were your kids collecting their trick-or-treating booty in, right? Because it probably wasn't a tiny little jack-o'-lantern head. If it was a little jack-o'-lantern head, you're probably stopping at home to dump it out, to go out and refill more. This is craziness. Leave it to us Americans to take this random tradition and absurdly go above and beyond with the gluttony factor, okay? Now, all of this that we're talking about is actually quite far from the origin story of trick-or-treating, which we're going to get into. Now, I'm not going to get into the religious side of things. We're not going to talk pagans and Christians and witches and warlocks and none of that crazy nonsense, right? We're not getting into that world. But I am going to talk about just the history of trick-or-treating itself and how we got to this ridiculousness, right? Trick-or-treating actually began in the Middle Ages. Game of Thrones time, y'all. This was in Ireland and England, and it started with something called, a weird word, it started with something called souling. Now what souling meant is the poor people of the town would go from home to home and they would ask for food. And the families that were a little more well off would give food to the poor families with the understanding that there was an exchange happening. So they would give these poor families food, and the poor families would agree that the next day, which was called All Souls Day, they would pray for the family members of the people who gave them food. So wealthier families are giving food to poor people, basically to create really big prayer circles. Christians still have prayer circles where people get together and a bunch of people pray all at once for a sick member of the church or something like that. That's what it really was, is they were giving these poor families in an act of kindness, giving them food, and then the poorer families would reciprocate the act of kindness by praying for their dead relatives. Now, later came a tradition called guising. Now, guising was a little bit different. This was like in the late 1800s, and this was little kids. Little kids would dress up in disguise, and they would go door to door, and they would ask for treats. Just whatever on hand. If you got treats, give me some treats, right? Now, when this came over to America, things were a lot different. Americans first started seeing this concept of trick-or-treating around 1916. And the way that this happened is actually pretty transparent, and I'm not as upset about it as I thought I was going to be. I thought this was going to be like a, marketing thing. Every Valentine's Day, you got to buy a big heart-shaped box of chocolates because Hershey told you to in a TV commercial. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like really scary marketing scheme. It was a marketing scheme, but it was super transparent. So back in 1916, actual candy companies invented their own holiday called Candy Day. And they were super transparent about this. They said, we want to sell more candy. We've created a holiday called Candy Day. What we want you to do is express your love for your loved ones by buying each other candy, giving each other little treats. That's kind of cool. It was held on the second Saturday in October, and this remained a tradition up until the 1950s. Purely a publicity stunt designed to increase candy sales, but the companies were super transparent about it. They called it Candy Day, right? Cool. Nothing shady, behind the scenes, tricking people, none of that nonsense. So then trick-or-treating was first seen in about outside of Candy Day in around 1927. But even up until the 1930s, the vast majority of Americans didn't know what this trick-or-treating thing was, like going to a door and saying, trick or treat, like give me a treat, right? People didn't really know what it was. It wasn't until the 1950s, and I actually confirmed this, had a conversation with my dad about it. My dad was born in 59, and he explained to me that trick-or-treating really started in the mid-1950s as far as he knew as well. But even his first 10 years, like 11 years of trick-or-treating for my dad was much different in the 60s. So it became widespread in the 1950s, but people were giving toys, they'd give nuts, they'd give whole fruit, they'd give coins like pennies or nickels, or like the crazy houses would give you a dime, right? Sometimes they would give cookies, but really toys, you were just as likely to get a toy from a house as you were candy. So where this came into play actually makes a lot of sense when you look at the history of it. So here's what happened. The world is a-changin'. The world is much different now than it was in the 1900s, in the early 1900s, and then particularly the 1930s, the 1950s, then you hit the 1970s, right? I don't know how many of you would let your kid go to a stranger's house and take a homemade baked good and just eat it, no questions asked. Well, parents of the 1970s had this same idea. So what happened with trick-or-treating, industrialized, packaged, big food company candy became the norm because people were getting nervous about untrustworthy adults tampering with homemade food. They didn't like the idea of just getting unwrapped homemade food given to their kids from strangers. Totally reasonable. So it seemed a lot safer to just start using pre-packaged candies that you buy in the store, where you have to rip it open and there's a seal and you know it's safe, you know? That's really what happened. This happened more out of fear than anything else. So candy, pre-packaged candy from the store, became the treat of choice in the 1970s. So this purchasing and consumption of candy just skyrocketed year after year after year since then, and that's where we ended up here, with the average kid with an average jack-o'-lantern getting 9,000 calories of candy, 3 pounds of pure sugar, which, by the way, we're going to talk about how much sugar is normal for a kid. I'll give you an example, like 3 pounds of sugar, that's a solid 2 months worth of sugar if you're eating the maximum daily allowance. It's I can't even tell you how bad that would be for a child. The other thing is, when you look at average sugar consumption in America, it's like the average kid takes in like 18 teaspoons a day or something. It's like a stupid amount of sugar. It's ridiculous, right? These holiday binging and stuff, that's not taken into account in those numbers. So remember that. That's just insane. It's like the daily intake of the average kid doesn't take into account when they come home and eat 2 pounds of candy in a single night and then throw up on themselves. Right? If you let a kid sit there and eat their bag of candy at the end of the night, they will try to eat all of it. They'll make themselves sick. This is where parenting comes in. So we're going to talk about your kids. We're going to talk about their health. I'm going to take a look at some comments real quick, because this is kind of a low-key night, guys. I'm just giving you some fun facts. If you can give out toothbrushes, why not toys? Yeah, toys sound cool. I mean, it'll get expensive. I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should buy Taza chocolate bars. $3.50 a pop. Sorry, kids, not handing out Taza Wicked Dark Chocolate. Not doing it. Not to mention, I know those little fruit-eating sugar burners take a bite of that bitter dark chocolate, spit it out, and throw that thing on the sidewalk. Then you're going to get a bunch of ants eating all those wonderful high antioxidants. Ridiculous. I would never. All right. I used to go to a house that gave out Beanie Babies. That was the freaking best. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's super cool. Just got here. Love prayer circles. First time forever, I'm here on an AMA night. What's up, Stacy? Welcome. Jessica, oh my God. I know, right? Way worse than we thought. It's just unbelievable. Sweet potatoes. My babies are all grown up and trick-or-treating on their own. Aw, that's adorable. I'm glad they're doing it, though. You know, it's fun. It's super fun. 2-year-olds and walking around in the rain did not sound like fun. My monster stayed home. Nice. That's cool. All right, we got some comments coming in. Nice and fun. Epic bars, too. Yeah, super expensive. And again, too, you got to remember, most kids are little fruit-eating sugar burners. They take one bite of that beef, probably spit that thing out. You just wasted $3 or whatever it is, right? So let's talk about children and Halloween. This is also going to be a lesson for the Clovis kids. So if your kids are out trick-or-treating, or your kids want to learn a little bit about what the sugar does to their body, particularly their teeth, that's what we're going to talk about right now. So this is additional Halloween horrors, right? We got more statistics for you. So, like I said, I used to get pounds and pounds and pounds of candy. I remember looking at Halloween very fondly because I love the holiday of Halloween. I love celebrating it. I would get all that candy. That candy would be in my house till like March, literally. It's months and months. You drastically increase your entire family's daily sugar intake for the following months with Halloween. And I know this to be true. Why? Because in between Halloween and all the way to St. Patrick's Day, dentists see more and more emergency visits that involve Halloween candy. I kid you not. These people walk through the doors with dental emergencies because of their Halloween candy. I'm going to tell you this number, and you're going to lose your mind. Because of candy intake, in the months following Halloween, Americans spend $800 million on emergency dental visits. I love these episodes. $800 million on emergency dental visits. Do you know what that means? That means somebody bit too hard on a gobstopper and cracked their tooth, or ate a caramel candy that broke their tooth in half, or ate something chewy that damaged their braces, damaged their retainer, ripped a filling out, popped a whole tooth that was loose out. All of these things, way higher instances of cavities in the months following Halloween. I'm sorry, guys. This is hilarious to me. $800 million in emergency dental visits that have to do with the intake of Halloween candy that we spent $2 billion to buy 600 million pounds of. What? What? And you're the crazy parent if you don't let your kid partake in this. We are, us Clovis people, we're weird as hell, right? We're just dumb. We're crazy. We live in our own little world, and we're some crazy hippies. We do all the weird stuff. No, you normal people are weird, okay? $2 billion on candy to buy 600 million pounds of it, to spend the next several months spending $800 million on emergency dental visits because you cracked and broke your teeth eating stuff that was never designed to be in your body. This is hysterical, guys. Hilarious, okay? How does this work? Let's get into it. So I did an AMA, the alkaline diet, and I talked about, we touched on this a little in the Q&A, right? Like, your diet isn't going to change the pH in your blood. Your diet absolutely can change the pH in your mouth, right? You have a gut microbiome, you have an oral microbiome, and the bacteria in your mouth, like everywhere else, in your armpits, your back, in your nose, bacteria run the show. You have very little say in the matter besides what you give to that ecosystem. Your mouth is basically an ecosystem with billions and billions and billions of bacteria. Now, the alkaline diet's argument about acid is true in the mouth. You can't change your blood pH, right? But the more acidic the environment in your mouth, the more likely you are to have cavities and damaged teeth. But in the mouth, what creates the acidic environment? Sugar. Sugar, 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 and only sugar. That's right, I said only sugar. We're going to talk about this. Cavities are caused by microbes in the mouth. So just like bacteria is in charge of your gut health, it's in charge of your oral health. Sugar creates an overabundance because it feeds a particular type of bacteria. It creates an overabundance, actually an explosion, of a certain type of bacteria with a weird name. It is called Mutans streptococci. Mutans streptococci is a particular strain of bacteria in the mouth. These bacteria love sugar and thrive on sugar. They use it for energy. Now, if you want to give a very graphic example of how this works to your little Clovis kids to make them giggle and make them laugh, I want you to show them this next part. As you eat more sugar, the sugar is fed to the Mutans streptococci bacteria. They eat and consume all of that sugar for energy, and then they basically poop and pee all over your teeth. That's right. These bacteria eat a bunch of sugar and they excrete these byproducts, chemical byproducts, onto your teeth in the form of lactic acid. Lactic acid is extremely powerful. So these bacteria literally consume sugar for energy, excrete lactic acid all over your teeth. The lactic acid literally burns your teeth. It leaches the calcium minerals out of the enamel. Your enamel is made of calcium minerals. It leaches the calcium out, strips away the enamel, and what happens over time is acid can penetrate deeper and deeper and deeper into the tooth. So it may take months before you even notice you have a cavity, but what happens is enough of that enamel, enough of that healthy tooth is stripped away that the lactic acid eventually penetrates and hits your nerves. This will cause excruciating pain. It can actually kill the entire tooth, rot it from the inside out, and then you'll have to get the tooth removed eventually if the problem is not dealt with. This is why they try to fill cavities, to prevent that from happening, to prevent death of the entire tooth. Now, the best way to stop this is to stop your sugar intake, okay? So I want to be very clear about this. There is only one macronutrient on planet Earth that can cause cavities. That is carbohydrates. Literally. It's the only one that gets stripped down to simple sugars and feeds those mutans streptococci, right? That particular strain of bacteria. So these new carnivore diets you see popping up, again, I'm not telling you guys to do that. Don't go be carnivores. Trust me, we can do an episode on that if you want to, but don't go be carnivores. But the people that are carnivores, if you had a 100% meat diet, you could literally get away with never brushing your teeth again. Theoretically, again, I don't recommend it. But if you don't have an intake of sugar, your risk of cavities is virtually zero. Now, because we know the intake of sugar is incredibly high in America, 92% of all American adults have had cavities. Not me, I've never had a cavity in my life, but 92% of all American adults have had cavities. High sugar consumption is enemy number one, public enemy number one for our teeth. It is literally the only thing. Cutting down on sugar in the diet is the single most effective way to decrease your risk of cavities, period. So if your kid is already struggling with dental health, number one, you gotta pull the sugar out of their diet. You absolutely have to. And if you want to strengthen those teeth and prevent further decay, what I recommend is a company called Oral Wellness. I've told you about these guys before. Aura, not oral, O-R-A, wellness. You go to aurawellness.com. They have a product called Shine. And Shine is a remineralizing powder. It's literally meant to remineralize your teeth that have been damaged. I use it literally every day, twice a day. I love the stuff. I use their Healed Healthy Mouth blend, essential oil blend. I love their products. Also, they do have pH strips, which I made fun of like crazy in the alkaline diet episode, right? pH strips can give you usable data for specific things. You could literally test the pH of your kid's mouth and see if they have an acidic mouth, see what their risk of cavities are, right? Now, again, go talk to a dentist about this. I'm not a dentist. I'm not pretending to be a dentist, but cavities are 100% caused by sugar. But what I want to be clear about is that it is the frequency of exposure. So if I ate 30 grams of sugar in a sitting, or I ate 5 grams of sugar in one sitting, I'm gonna have the same response. My mouth is gonna have that really acidic environment for, let's say, the next hour or whatever. But it's not really dose dependent. The acid level in the mouth is gonna change. So what's really the biggest risk factor is frequency of exposure. So the more often your kid's mouth is exposed to sugar, the more often, the higher their risk of dental cavities. So let's talk about how much sugar. Wow, it's already 8:30. Let's see if we got, I'm gonna check some comments real quick. My kiddos say, hi, what's up, Ridleys? How are ya? Wonder how much of that is paid for by Medicaid, right? Candied apples and popcorn balls are a thing of the past. Good, they should be. That's horrific. My homie got a razor blade in his side in his little Snicker candy. Staggering numbers. I thought about Epic Bar. All right, we're back up to Epic Bars. Cool. All right, let's jump back in. So the question becomes, how much sugar? And now I'm going to poo-poo a little bit more. I'm going to keep shitting in the punch bowl on Halloween. I promise we're going to get to the point, to the part of the show where I tell you how to make this a fun and exciting thing for your kids. Let them be normal kids. Let them partake in this devil holiday, right? Okay. So even the completely broken mainstream, the mainstream that brought us the food pyramid and the type 2 diabetes epidemic, and the obesity epidemic, and the Alzheimer's epidemic, and the depression epidemic, and the ADHD epidemic, yeah, all the bad shit, all of it, right? That came from mainstream medical, the US government, mainstream dietary guidelines, right? Now, even they, the most broken system in the world, will tell you. And what's weird is they don't separate this for kids and adults. It drives me nuts. But they say less than 25 grams of sugar per person per day. Less than that. That's what they recommend. So based on the earlier example, that one little jack-o'-lantern with 250 pieces of candy that equals 3 pounds of sugar, that would be 56 days of the maximum daily intake of sugar. That's pretty horrible, guys. Think about that. That's one little jack-o'-lantern, not the big pillowcase. The pillowcase is probably a year worth of sugar, right? 56 days worth of sugar collected in a single jack-o'-lantern. This is insane, right? So if we talk about the top 5 candies at Halloween, looked up all this stuff, did the work for you guys, right? We have Skittles, M&M's, Snickers, Reese's, the peanut butter cups, and Starburst. These are the most popular Halloween candies according to Google. I don't have any secret sources. I just looked it up, y'all. But anyway, these are the top 5 Halloween candies. And I wanted to show you this because one regular Skittles bag has 47 grams of sugar. 2 full days worth of sugar. One regular size bag, not the big one, of M&M's, 30 grams of sugar. You're already over your entire day limit. You can eat nothing else for the rest of the day, and you're already over your sugar limit. One regular size Snickers bar, let alone this king size nonsense. Regular size Snicker bar, 30 grams of sugar. 2 peanut butter cups, 20 grams of sugar. 1 Starburst package, 39 grams of sugar. The other thing I want to point out that's really important is if you look up the ingredients of all of these, in the top 3, you're going to see sugar, corn syrup, and some other form of hydrogenated vegetable oils. Hydrogenated industrial vegetable oils. These are known carcinogens, cancer-causing agents that damage the actual membranes of your freaking cells, right? You're eating concentrated hydrogenated oils, corn syrup, and sugar. It's insane, guys. This is really, really bad. And the stickier the candy, the worse it is for your teeth because it's harder to get that stuff off. So actually, in the above examples, in terms of dental health, the clear winner is M&M's. I can't believe I just told you the words in terms of dental health. The clear winner is M&M's. But I just said that. That's insane. Because with chocolate, you can literally eat it and kind of rinse your mouth out, spit it out, rinse your mouth out, swallow, whatever. It's the Starburst, the Skittles, the Snickers with the caramel, the Reese's peanut butter, the stuff that really sticks to your kids' teeth. That is just a petri dish for cavities, for tooth decay. It's really nasty, guys. Really nasty, okay? So let's talk about how to handle this mess, okay? I don't know why I erased it. I don't know how much I need to whiteboard right now. I might use the whiteboard. We'll see. In a perfect world, we would all go out for Halloween to celebrate, and everybody would be Clovis people, right? Everybody would be handing out Taza, wicked dark chocolate, and organic pecan halves or something. I don't know, right? But it'd be awesome. It'd be a great celebration. Everybody would have just as much fun celebrating, and it'd be all Taza, 85% cacao and above chocolate, right? That's not reality. That's not the world that we live in. So I want to help you guys with this because I don't want to damage your relationship with your child. I don't want you to be the nasty dictator, especially if you're new to Clovis and your kids are 6, 8, 10, even 4, whatever. Like if your kids aren't infants, just completely saying, hey, this holiday you get absolutely nothing because mommy said so, that's not going to win. That's not going to be a winning strategy, right? So I want to try to help you guys work through this with your kids. How can you help your kids partake responsibly? Well, remember, I just told you, especially in terms of cavity, the biggest risk factor is frequency of exposure. So number 1, we're going to let your kids celebrate Halloween for a full 7 days. Okay? That's how crazy outside of the Clovis box I'm going. We're gonna let your kids celebrate for an entire 7 days. What you do is you collect all their candy after they bring it into the house. You put it somewhere they cannot get to it. Somewhere where they don't know what it is, where it is, somewhere if they even knew where it was, I don't care if you have to put it in a combination safe, right? You are going to remove this candy from your kids immediately. Let them have a few pieces of candy tonight on Halloween, and then you put that candy away. Now what you do is limit the dosage. Allow them to have candy once per day for an entire week after Halloween. You don't have to do it this long. I'm just trying to be super freaking generous so your little fruit eating sugar burners can't complain, right? And we're gonna trick their little mindset a little bit because kids forget over time, okay? So this might look like, let's say, 2 pieces of candy. Let's do 2 pieces of candy, 1 to 2 pieces of candy, whatever you decide as a parent, after dinner as a dessert. There you go. Hey guys, after dinner every night, I'm gonna give you a couple pieces of candy. Food that I usually never give you because we live in a Clovis household, right? So I'm gonna give you a couple pieces of candy as a dessert every night for dinner for the next 7 days. 7 days is way more than enough time to celebrate any holiday, except maybe Hanukkah, right? But for the average person, 7 days is plenty of time to get over this Halloween thing. The issue is Halloween lasts months. What do I mean by this? I get driven crazy by people saying that they don't want to deprive their kid. At the end of 7 days, throw the candy in the garbage, or do another thing I'm going to talk to you about, other things you can do with your candy, right? At the end of 7 days, there's no more candy in that house. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just do that. Trust me, it's better for your kids. Just do it, right? End of 7 days, you're done celebrating Halloween. Because here's what's happened. Don't feel like you're depriving your kid. Because for the entire week of Halloween, let alone months afterwards, every other grown-up on planet Earth is gonna be giving your kid leftover Halloween candy all damn day. Teachers, other students, your relatives, their little cousins, whoever they run into, all the other grown-ups, the PTA meeting, the sports coach team, whatever, is going to be giving your kid candy because we have 600 million pounds of it, right? There's no way you can eat all this in one day. So you guys know this. I remember when I was a kid, I ate candy for months. In school, I was given candy for the next 10 days after Halloween from every single teacher. And the kids are going to say yes every time a grown-up offers them candy because you're not there to watch. Never forget that fact. I don't care how Clovis you raise your kids. They're going to eat candy when people want to give it to them and you're not around. Right? They might feel guilty, they might hide it from you, whatever. Maybe you raised your kids perfectly. Maybe they don't lie to you at all. Yeah, maybe they don't lie to you at all, right? Okay, but they're probably gonna take the candy from those adults. So this idea of a few pieces won't hurt them, I'll just let them eat their Halloween candy every day, only works if you're with them 24 hours a day to see their total daily intake. A few pieces of candy at home is a problem when 6 other adults from the bus stop to them coming home from school all gave them 3 pieces of candy. They've eaten 40 pieces of candy today that you don't know about. The other thing you need to remember is never leave open access to the candy in the house. This happens all the time after Halloween. You take a big bowl of candy, I'm looking at my island in my kitchen. If you have a big bowl of candy on your island in the kitchen, every member of the entire household is gonna grab a little fun-sized 3 Musketeer every time they walk by that bowl, right? And as we've learned, it's frequency of exposure that's the biggest problem when it comes to not only dental, but the constant insulin and blood glucose spikes. I've showed you guys this before in in AMAs and in my fasting protocol. I outline this in graphs in the Perfect Fasting Protocol ebook at iamclovis.com. If you pick up that ebook, I give you color-coded graphs of how insulin and glucose work. Right? It's the constant spikes in insulin from snacking that cause obesity, right? The same thing for your dental health. It's frequency of exposure, okay? So remove this. The other thing to remember is that surveyed parents, over 93% of surveyed American parents admit to eating their kids' Halloween candy. Over 93% of parents admit to eating their kids' Halloween candy. Why have that temptation in your house? I don't care if you've been Clovis for 6 months, right? Why do that? So let's talk about it. They have another thing is, a lot of people have talked about this in the Clovis Academy too. There's literally a Halloween candy buyback program. This is kind of a long URL, but I'm not gonna write the whole URL. It's gonna be ridiculous. HalloweenCandyBuyback.com. Ridiculous website, but HalloweenCandyBuyback.com. What they'll do is they'll buy your candy from you, usually at local dentist office. They'll buy your candy from you for $1 a pound, which is cheap, by the way. You should just pay your kids more than that, and we'll do another lesson out of it. But they'll buy it for $1 a pound, and then they ship it to the troops overseas. Do I love that? No, I sure don't, okay? But sure, it's better than putting it in the faces of your kids for the next 3 months while they sit around and on their iPads watching YouTube and get type 2 diabetes by age 11, right? Yeah, sure, send it to the troops, it's better than that. What I prefer to see you do is use this buyback program, take that money and donate it to something like Wounded Warriors or something like that. Now another thing you can do is you can use it as a lesson for your kids, and you can teach your kids the value of sacrifice, because I think this is very important. I think one of the biggest problems we have in America is that living is too easy. Not enough people have struggled. I genuinely believe that. I put myself in struggling situations every day for that reason, right? So, have your kids make a choice. Talk to your kids about a charity. Help your kid choose a charity of their choosing. Hey, here's a list of charities. Explain to them what they do, if they're old enough to have this conversation, of course. Which charity do you like? Have them pick one and then say, okay, I'm gonna buy your candy from you for $10 a pound. And then you get to donate that money to a good cause. Teach them a lesson right there, right? Does that sound woo-woo? Does it sound hippy-dippy? Yeah, a little bit, sure, whatever, right? I think it's a great way to teach your kids something. Now, the other thing to remember, that 93% of parents or whatever eating their kids' Halloween candy, I want to talk to you real quick about fall. So I've talked to you guys in other AMAs about fruit, seasonal fruit in the summertime. What did our ancestors use that for? They used it to gorge on so the fructose would help them store body fat so they could survive the winter. So I'm going to talk to you guys about why you don't want that candy bowl sitting there. Is we're genetically wired to want sugar during cold weather. That's crazy to think about. Think about that switch to fall, right? That first cold snap of air comes in and everybody's wondering when the pumpkin spice latte is going to hit Starbucks. They want the pumpkin spice latte. Oh my God, they can feel it. Oktoberfest beer comes out. I used to wait all year for Oktoberfest beer. All of a sudden, we're getting cravings, right? In June, we love the taste of watermelon. In October, November, December, all we want is fresh baked pumpkin bread. We want warm apple cider sitting on the stove with cinnamon sticks and heaping scoops of sugar in it, right? Why do we want these things? Why do we want these warm, delectable baked goods just loaded with concentrated sugar? Because historically, our little caveman brains are wired to think the cold is coming and we need to survive winter. We need to store as many calories on our body as physically possible. How do we do that? By storing body fat. How do we store body fat? By consuming as much sugar as possible. This is why cravings get worse around the holiday season, guys. This is why it's so difficult. All right? If you've ever wondered that, like, what is it? It's just, it's something about October. I just want this pumpkin bread, right? That's what it is, guys. We're genetically wired to survive, okay? But anyway, this has been Ask Me Anything, number 43, Halloween horrors. I hope you guys learned some interesting stuff. I hope this was fun, kind of silly, kind of lighthearted, not any deep science today, right? Maybe your kids learned a little bit about mutant streptococci bacteria and how lactic acid destroys your teeth because bacteria poop on your teeth, right? They excrete end products. Gross. But anyway, that was AMA number 43, Halloween horrors. Let me look at some comments here. What do we got? Calling me controlling. I don't care. Oh, calling you controlling about your kids? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how you do things. We got lots of Play-Doh this year. Interesting. We can tell where you're from, how you say Reese's. How do you say, well, people say Reese's, huh? Reese's? Let me get some of them Reese's Pieces, them Reese's peanut butter cups. I'm gonna have a Reese's peanut butter cup, right? Is that how you say it? I think so. I don't know. Bum, no non-candy treats except the ones we brought for our friends. Stamps and temporary tattoos. That's pretty cool. Awesome. We're back up to Jessica's kids saying hi. What's up, Ridley's? I like my shirt too, Tabitha. Once again. By the way, guys, I hand-picked these shirts. So I make sure the material is the exact material that I want. This is my favorite material t-shirt. Look at the back, it's awesome, right? So the V-neck, the unisex V-neck in charcoal, and this 3/4 tee, I selected these fabrics because I freaking love them. They're more expensive for me to make, but I love them, and I want comfortable shirts that people are gonna wear. So go to iamclovis.com, click the shop button at the top of the page, and hit merch. And you will find all of these amazing new shirts. I absolutely love them. You will love them too. They're so comfortable. I'm gonna be working from home in this thing literally every single day. Like, all I wear at home is 3/4 sleeves. I don't know why. I love them. But this is officially my favorite new shirt. I'm super pumped. I got myself the V-neck as well. I got my cool Clovis decal sticker. You can get yourself one of those as well. Actually, here, my computer's right here. Let me see. I don't know how this is gonna go. Let's see. It's delayed. Yeah, there you go. You can get a cool Clovis decal on your MacBook like I got. So all you gotta do is go buy yourself an Eat Whole Foods Change the World shirt, and you will get your very own Clovis decal sticker just like that. Pretty cool stuff, right? Get on there and do it before they run out, because those are first come, first serve. When they're gone, they're gone. I don't know if I'll make them again. I have no plans in the near future to make them again. I just got a killer deal, this promo thing on them, so I might not actually make them again. So go get yourself some Clovis decals. Does anybody have any questions about Halloween, about sugar, about bacteria in your mouth, about cavities, about lactic acid from bacteria excreting on you, right? It's kind of interesting. The byproducts and bacteria is really interesting because it's the same way it works in your gut microbiome. A lot of these bacteria digest fermentable fibers. They digest prebiotic fiber, and their byproducts that they create are like vitamins and minerals, like vitamin K, things like that are created from your gut bacteria digesting fibers. You can't digest fiber as a human, but your gut bacteria can, and then they produce end products or byproducts of that digestion process. It's really interesting, kind of cool stuff, right? When I wore mine the other day, my friend asked me about Sam. What do you mean? I don't know. I don't know why I read some of these comments. I'm like, I don't know. People aren't going to know what that means on this podcast. But I added the podcast. Don't forget. Oh, also, guys, remember, I launched my brand new podcast, the Perfect Paleo Podcast. Okay? Yeah, that's going to be a lot to write. But the Perfect Paleo Podcast. You can find it on any major platform. I shared it in the Clovis Academy. I shared it in I Am Clovis and Clovis Kids. The Perfect Paleo Podcast. Episode number 1 is with my dad, Charlie Nault. We call him Papa Nault in the Academy. He's got a great story. People seem to love the episode so far. You guys are giving me great feedback. You've subscribed to the podcast. Thank you so much. That really means the world to me. It's a great conversation with Dad. One of many, many conversations that I'm going to have with Dad, because he's about the most interesting man in the world, literally. Makes the Dos Equis guy look boring. So Dad's pretty awesome. I think you guys are going to enjoy that episode. So not too many questions today on AMA number 43. Calling it Halloween Horrors. This was really fun to just kind of look into, research. I love these little kind of one-off relaxed episodes. It's super fun. I hope you guys had an incredible day with your kiddos. If you have kiddos, hope you did some trick-or-treating. Again, let them partake. Don't let them overindulge. Just be a parent here. You know, that's all you got to do. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate that. Thank you for listening. I do have a great dad. I'm super fortunate. None of this, Clovis would be nothing without my dad, my mentor, my hero. I don't think I've ever made a business decision in my life without consulting Dad. He's a powerhouse. So I'm very fortunate to have that. Let's see, if I ate sugar today, how long does it take me to get back to losing weight? How bad will that screw me up? Do you understand what I mean? Yes, I do. And it just depends on where you're at now. Like, so Carly, you're down like 70 pounds, right? So your hormone levels are going to be far more balanced than they were when you first got to me. For instance, your leptin and ghrelin, your hunger and full hormones, those are going to be way more well balanced than they were when you first got to me. On top of that, your insulin levels are probably far more balanced. Your what's called your fasted insulin is probably much, much better. So you can handle an insulin spike. Guys, I could go eat 3 pounds of candy right now, and I'm gonna bounce right back tomorrow. Literally. I'll be fine tomorrow. I might feel a little crappy. I might feel a little groggy because I had some stuff in my system that I don't normally have. Like I said, the hydrogenated oils and stuff, they literally damage your cells. They damage your neurons. Cell signaling is messed up the next day. You may have brain fog. All brain fog is caused by food. I want you guys to understand that. Anytime you're feeling brain fog, you have eaten something that did not agree with you. Or it's the beginning of the Clovis protocol and you're going through your sugar detox and you're losing more sodium and all these little things in the very beginning. But for me, anytime I feel brain fog or something, I must have done something nutritionally that wasn't sound, right? So that said, yeah, you're down 74 pounds. I want to eat some nerds. No, you don't. You absolutely don't want to do that. Why? Why would you do that? No, don't do that. I can't stand by and let you do that. I literally can't. That's ridiculous. There's no reason for you to do that, right? But especially where you are and me knowing what you're trying to do, that doesn't make a lot of sense. That's called self-sabotage. So I cannot condone self-sabotage. No, don't eat the fucking nerds, okay? Don't do that, right? Carla, I know where you're at. I know what you're trying to do. Don't do that. It'd be different if you were like, hey, I want to indulge on some 70% Taza Wicked Dark Chocolate. Okay, cool. We're talking about something different, right? That's a little different. But anyway, if you were to do it, to answer your question, you'll just bounce back tomorrow. Your insulin levels will get back to where they should be. Your glucose levels will get back to what they should be. This stuff works in cycles. Again, if I put the word frequency up here, that's the biggest risk factor for all of this. Chronic insulin elevation. Chronic insulin elevation is what causes type 2 diabetes. So you just need to give it time to settle down. If you make a big mistake like that, like eating nerds, which would be a mistake, then you just need to give that, maybe fast after that. Maybe do a 13-hour fast, or even an 11 or 12, 13-hour fast. Maybe do a 16-hour fast, right? Just let those insulin and glucose levels chill out a little bit. That's all you gotta do. All right, what else we got? Birthday treat, dark chocolate. Make sure it's good dark chocolate. Not all dark chocolate is created equal. Go on your approved foods list and look at the approved dark chocolates that I provided for you in that list, okay? Be very, very careful. Very careful. Because you go eat Hershey's dark chocolate, you might as well be eating the Hershey's milk chocolate. It's all chemicals, it's all nasty. Dark chocolate does not mean good, okay? I want to be very, very clear about that. All right, guys, it's 8:55. Doesn't look like we have any more questions. If you have any last minute questions, just poke them in here and I'll answer them. But anyway, this has been Ask Me Anything, number 43. Again, if you are in the academy and you have not joined I Am Clovis, you're wondering what I Am Clovis is about, you're wondering what the custom nutrition protocol is all about, you're wondering what macros are, you're wondering what the approved foods list is, I want to be clear about this. I am giving you full access to the approved foods list for free for 7 days. You get to join the I Am Clovis group. You get to access the membership portal with all my videos, my supplement recommendations, my fitness recommendations, my favorite books, my favorite podcasts, and the approved foods list for free at iamclovis.com/start. Again, iamclovis.com/start. If you're on the fence, I promise you, I can get you results. I can change your entire life. I promise you. Just go to iamclovis.com/start. You're going to see testimony videos. You're going to see testimony pictures. You're going to see social media posts of people who just cannot believe the results they've gotten with the Clovis protocol. So go to iamclovis.com/start. Check it out today. Thank you guys for being here on a holiday. Happy Halloween. My pumpkin's back. Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you had an amazing day. I hope you spent it with your family. I hope you had fun with your kids. I hope your kids ate some candy. I really do. That's awesome. Give your kids some candy. Totally cool. You'll make memories together, right? Just make sure you prevent them from overindulging. That's it. Time to be a parent, everybody. So thank you for being here. Ask Me Anything number 43, Halloween Horrors. I love you guys. I love you, Clovis. Thank you so much. Go pick up your Eat Whole Foods, Change the World shirt so we can be twinsies. And I will see you guys tomorrow live in the Clovis Academy, in the Facebook groups. Get in there. Go to iamclovis.com/start. Get started with me as your health coach today. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Happy Halloween!